Madam Chair, we have Christopher Deal. You state your name and address for the record, please, and you have up to 5 minutes.
Yes, I'm Christopher Deal, 418 South Gay Street. I am assistant principal here in Knox County through the 5th cohort of the Leadership Academy that is associated with Knox County and the University of Tennessee. As much as I do not take this opportunity for granted, I don't take for granted the opportunities that Knox County has given me within the past 2 years. The reason I say past 2 years is because that is when I moved here from North Carolina. Prior to that, Florida. In North Carolina, I worked as a 4th grade literacy coach at a rural Title I school. When I came from Miami to North Carolina for this job, I felt completely out of my element. I know how to get the kids to read, how to love reading, but at this school I was faced with some staff members that tried really hard to push me out because I had a vision that I wanted for these boys and girls. But the work I knew needed to be done was not what some of these staff members wanted to put in. My vision, though, was based on my expertise and on research. I wanted them, the students and teachers, to be their first or be their best because that's all they could be. It was all about intent. Every strategy, book, and parent meeting I had spoke about or spoke to, it was all about my intent to make those students and teachers see the best within themselves. That year, 4 fairly new 4th grade teachers and myself scored the highest growth in literacy in the entire county, outbeating all elementary, middle, and high schools. I say this because I believe that Dr. McIntyre's intent to do the best he can be is so that students and teachers can be the best that they can be. This is something that should not go unnoticed. 2 years ago, I was hired as a 1st grade teacher, but as life happens, the day before school started, I was told that I was going to be switched to 5th grade because of enrollment. Did I throw my hands in the air, curse the school board, or superintendent? No, because I'm a class act. Instead, I said okay and made the most of my experience. After that, I had some issues with paperwork pertaining to my pay and license. Did I curse the school board, or superintendent? No, because I realized that they had nothing to do with it. What I did and do know, though, was that as I am in a county where the intent to have children discover their best potential was at the forefront. My first year here, I earned a 4 overall on the evaluation system. The following year, which was last year, I still taught 5th grade and earned a position as PLC head and lead teacher. The great thing about that was I took my knowledge and expertise, autonomy, and fused it together with Knox County and the vision of my school. If I didn't have an administration to work with like that, and I do, and a leadership team that starts with Dr. McIntyre, I wouldn't be here. I work in Knox County because I love it. I'm in the Leadership Academy as assistant principal because I earned it and worked extremely hard for it. And for someone to ever question the work ethics and potential favoritism of anyone who gets chosen to be in the Leadership Academy, it's an insult to the candidates, both current and past, the interviewing team, and the University of Tennessee and their partnership with Knox County Schools. For an employee to defame their boss, CEO, CFO, or company in a malicious manner is appalling to me. When I see it and read about it as it pertains to a very, very minute group of teachers in Knox County, it's not only appalling, but it's embarrassing. So this is why these final comments, I'm afraid, could fuel someone's opinion about KCS and Dr. McIntyre. And since this agenda focuses on his evaluation, I'm going to address them really briefly. Mentioning on social media's local Facebook Speak site that Dr. McIntyre and KCS need to get their priorities straight because they won't buy calculators for middle school students is absurd. And without reading this, I'm going to briefly tell you what I did. I looked up the top 10 school districts in the country with, as it pertains to 2013 math scores. The counties were Albuquerque, Atlanta, Austin, Baltimore City, and Boston. I called 20 middle schools. Not one of their schools bought calculators for their students. For somebody to go on Facebook and say he needs to get his priorities straight because he didn't buy calculators, I would love for you, somebody, to tell that to those counties up there who have the top math scores in the country. I was here last week, well, in the AJ building, and saw, not AJ building, in the building across the street, and saw this next thing with my own eyes. Somebody came up to the podium and to call out Dr. McIntyre and the school board over minutes that weren't posted. Then the person proceeded to go to proceeded to go on Facebook and said that they found the April minutes in the bottom of an email. As they stated, a lot of teachers, including themselves, had deleted the email before reading to the bottom. So I would assume that this person only reads emails that are pertaining to their own interests. Not everybody deletes their emails, because I know I read all my emails and read all the way down to the bottom. So I'm not from the South, but I do know some Southern sayings. You could bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. As a professional, it's an employee's choice whether or not you read an entire email. That's not a KCS issue, and that's not a Dr. McIntyre issue. As for not putting the term minutes in the subject line, as someone who has worked in the school district on both a college and elementary level and in the business world, There is no policy that says every single subject has to have a main idea in it. I'm going to conclude with this final comment since I only have 10 seconds. This is a quote. Whatever negative things people think and say about you is enough to bring you down and provide that you believe that it carries weight that can push you hard. Don't agree to accept what critics say. Be prepared to silence them by doing what they think that you can't do.